Hello, everybody. This is Ryan Fields from Washington University in St. Louis and the Alvin J. Siteman Cancer Center. I'm really excited to present today about our newly funded National Cancer Institute project in collaboration with the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation entitled Cholangiocarcinoma Participant Engagement in Cancer Genome Sequencing, or PECGS, U2C Cancer Moonshot program. I have no disclosures or conflicts of interest for this talk. So I want to take everybody back to 2015 when Barack Obama gave his State of the Union address, and as many in this audience will remember, he turned and announced the Cancer Moonshot program and put then President or Vice President Joe Biden in charge of that program. And this was back in 2015 and really mimicked John F. Kennedy's speech and the original Moonshot program of landing someone on the moon. And this was really to provide an influx of capital and resources to combat cancer. And as we move forward into February 2016, you can see then again Vice President Biden working with what was the blue ribbon panel of experts to come up with different priority areas to then spend this money effectively. And so I've pulled up a couple screenshots from the Cancer Moonshot website at cancer.gov. The Cancer Moonshot was essentially a strong effort to accelerate projects and progress in cancer research. And if you kind of look in the middle here, this 21st Century Cures Act in 2016 included $1.8 billion in funding for this moonshot. So the next step was, okay, we've got all this money, how are we going to use it? So the Blue Ribbon Panel convened this, many on this call may have been part of this, but experts around the country that came up with these research initiatives. And the initiatives are shown here in the left, everything from things related to immunotherapy to the Human Tumor Atlas Network project that we've also been a part of. But of relevance to what I'm going to talk about is this charge to establish a network for direct patient engagement. And the idea was to engage patients to contribute their tumor profile data to expand knowledge about what therapies work in whom and which types of cancer. So if we talk about that area a little bit more, this really had a number of thoughts behind it. The main focus was there were a lot of tumors that were poorly characterized or rare tumors, and importantly, there were barriers to patients participating in this kind of research and understanding what they got out of it. So the ultimate goal of this network was to expand research participation, improve access to data from advanced tumor profiling, and to improve the identification and treatment of cancers across diverse populations. What does this have to do with this venue and this talk? Well, I think the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation, as we know, has been ahead of this for a long time with their Mutations Matter campaign and all of the knowledge we have about cholangiocarcinoma with respect to genomic mutations and participation in genomic trials and studies to benefit our patients. So we put together a proposal at Washington University to this RFA and this program. The main network RFA goals were to support direct engagement of cancer patients and survivors as participants, so more than just patients, also survivors and their family members. Use principles of direct participant engagement to promote cancer genome sequencing programs, to improve knowledge gaps, and they were specifically interested in highly lethal cancers, rare and understudied cancers, or those with high disparities. And this would be all done through a large network with coordinating centers across the country. This is an overview of our program. We're focusing on 3 cancer types, and cholangiocarcinoma being one of them, the others being early onset colorectal cancer in African Americans and multiple myeloma in African Americans. And our program will involve 3 units. The one that I'm in charge of is participant engagement in order to identify and recruit patients to this program. There's a genomic characterization unit and an engagement optimization unit that both genomically characterize and then study with implementation science methods to understand this process more. Why cholangiocarcinoma? I'm sure it's obvious to everybody in this group, but it is a cancer that, as we know, is on the rise, but still a rare and relatively understudied cancer, and highly lethal, but with druggable and genomic alterations that are relevant, as we all know from a number of talks in this program and recent successes. This is the team of investigators at WashU that I'm a part of. It's a multi-PI project with myself, Graham Kolditz, and Bettina Drake in public health sciences that are experts in population health science level cancer projects, especially implementation science, and optimization methods, and then Li Ding, who's a world leader in cancer genomics, one of the original and founding members of the TCGA project. So as I had mentioned, our program has 3 units: a participant engagement unit, an engagement optimization unit, and a genomic characterization unit that seamlessly work together to identify patients, do the science in terms of the sequencing, and return those results to patients and their providers for actionable items. Of important relevance is we've really been fortunate, and I think the reason the NCI loved our grant is we proposed to partner with 3 great patient advocacy groups for these cancers: the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation. Stacy and Melinda have been key and are going to sit on our advisory board and really help us with the cholangiocarcinoma arm, and we have similar patient advocates and patient advocacy groups, Fight Colorectal Cancer and the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. Where this is going to be important and why I really wanted to present this program is we're going to be recruiting patients from across the country, from other centers, through the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation's outreach and through partnerships with many of you to both identify patients, enroll them into this, and then provide results back both to the patients and their providers, and then study that system. We're going to participate in the NIH All of Us program, which is a large-scale NIH initiative for genomic sequencing and patient characterization across disease spectrum, not just cancer. This is sort of our 5-year plan where we'll be identifying and recruiting approximately 50 to 100 patients each year for inclusion into the program. But importantly, we're going to be identifying right off the bat a number of retrospective patients, and relevant to cholangiocarcinoma, we'll work with the foundation through their registries and databases to identify potential participants, reach out to them with our study team to enroll them, obtain tissue blocks and tissue samples and blood and cheek swabs when possible, to have a group that we can enroll right off the bat into this program. This is sort of our pipeline where we'll be performing both Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 sequencing, including genome and exome sequencing, cell-free DNA sequencing, and then some more research sequencing pipelines that will then be pushed through. We will generate reports that will be given back to patients and to their treatment team. And importantly, we'll then be studying the patients for understanding, why did you decide to participate in this research? What were some of the barriers? What did you get out of it? And how can we refine and improve that process, which is, again, the whole goal of the program. Each year, we will be identifying, as I had indicated, newer cohorts of patients across time, pumping those through the sequencing pipelines, including amping up some of the research pipelines as we get through the time frame of the 5-year program. This is just kind of shown in another way how this is going to feed into generating these reports, including actionable events that go back to patients. And through a lot of the partnerships with the patient advocacy groups, we'll be keeping a database of all of this so that if an unknown actionable mutation suddenly becomes actionable, someone discovers a new drug or therapeutic that targets a particular mutation, we'll have all that data. We'll be able to then go back and contact those patients and say, hey, you may be eligible for this trial or this study that's happening. So that's kind of one of the real powers of the program and what we're most excited about. And what I can't thank Stacy and Lindsay and the foundation, Stacy and Melinda and the foundation enough for is the partnerships that they have with Citizen and Komodo Health related to the power that they have to collect and organize and query health history across space and time, and integrate all of these patient encounters. So we'll be able to really track patients, understand where they are and where they're going, understand all of the different things that can really help us gain more information about patients with cholangiocarcinoma in terms of where they enter and exit the healthcare system, how we can identify patients, track their sequencing events and sequencing results to be able to then follow up on actionable results. And again, I think the NCI really liked our grant because of these partnerships, both with the patient advocacy groups and with organizations like Citizen and Komodo, to be able to really make this a powerful program. Again, I'll highlight this figure because this is going to be done as we launch this program, which is slated to start in July of this year. As we launch this program, we'll look to the foundation and look to many of our friends and colleagues across the country to identify patients and participate in this large-scale NCI program. We're the only center that's going to be focusing on cholangiocarcinoma, so I think we'll be able to really bring a unique patient population that we can study quite deeply and within the context of this Cancer Moonshot program. The workflow where I'll look to the foundation and to many of our friends and colleagues across the country is in this identify and recruit part of the process, really the beginning of it. We then have a research nurse, a research administrator, and several database managers who will then enroll patients, review for sequencing plans, do work on return of results and the process, and then include these patients in some of the evaluation processes and trials that we have built into this engagement process to then refine and improve this process. So we have a large infrastructure of personnel here that'll be really doing all of the sort of groundwork, but we will be reaching out to the foundation and others to really help identify and recruit patients. This is all of my contact information. I know it's a lot of information. We were really just notified that this is going to be funded and are really excited about the project, so the timing couldn't be better. But if anybody has questions or would like to be involved more or discuss things with us, please feel free to reach out via email or phone anytime. We're unbelievably excited about the partnership with the foundation and are really looking forward to this program. We will be having next year at the foundation meeting, I think several in-person events and patient advocate and caregiver focus groups and workshops specifically to this project with the funding that we have. So we're again really looking forward to things. I look forward to hearing from everyone. Thank you very much.